Hi everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. How are we doing? Hopefully I'm not going to cough my way through this briefing because it just takes so much editing. Although I do feel a lot better. It has abated somewhat, so I'm glad not to be left with any long-lasting cough from the lurgy. I didn't realise lurgy was such a British word actually. Lots of people ask me what it meant. It's just like a malady, a not feeling very well, a sort of general grossness of spirit. I think it can be summed up as. Not completely gone. So I have got lots and lots of things to share with you today. I have got 2 finishes. I've got a bit of a blast from the past, a bit of a rarity that I have started back working on again, and some plans for what I'm going to do with the chart. I do have some more haul. I have not been shopping since I've been to the attic, but I did have some come in whilst I was at the attic, and I just didn't have the shame face to show it all to you all in one go with everything that I showed you last week. So I do have some more, and I've got another giveaway for you. Speaking of giveaways, I have got apologies to make. I have got an apology to make for those people who are waiting for things in the post for me. I have not managed to get home in time to get to the post office at all this week. And the one little shop that I passed by on the way home that has got a post office in it has been closed this week because it's been transitioning into, or from a little shop into a Morrison's local or something like that. So yes, I'm going to drop Ness off at karate tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, and then I'm going to go to a different local shop which also has a post office, and they're open on a Sunday. So everything will be in the post by the end of tomorrow. My other apology to make is to a lovely lady who gave me a gift at the attic at the Sampler Symposium, and I didn't show it last week. And the reason I didn't show it is because I don't have it, and I absolutely live in fear of things like this happening. I try to be so careful with the things that people give me. I know where it is, but that doesn't help actually. I put it in one of my shoes while I was packing my case, and I don't have those shoes either. So I think I'm going to need to make a phone call to the hotel to see if they still have a random pair of shoes with little bits poked inside them for aid packing. So to that lady, I am so incredibly sorry that I don't have that. I just can't apologise enough. I'm so sorry. I hate that. That's my worst fear. It is my worst fear that somebody will give me something and I either won't have it or I won't remember, and yeah, so apologies. Right, let's get on to looking at some stitching after all my apologies. Right, I have 2 finishes, as I said. One probably you'll know. The second one you won't know because I only decided to finish it this week. So let's start with the surprise, shall we? And they're actually both from the same designer. So this is my first finish. So this is from Modern Folk Embroidery, and you'll recognise this chart, I am sure. Now, let me tell you about it. I have got my trusty whip record book, and I've even bookmarked the pages. This is on the first page, this one. Not because it's my oldest whip, it was just the first one I wrote down. So this one is called Real Comfort, a Jane Austen sampler by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I started it on the 1st of January last year, 2024, and I finished it on the 7th of January this year. It's a Silks for You thread, and I'm going to have to look up the colour because I don't have that written down. Now this is what I do with my Silks for You, is I cut them into 3 and then I just braid them, just a loose braid, and then you can pull out very easily either just a single strand, which tends to be what you're using with Silks for You, or you can pull out a full 6 strand if you want to, and it comes out nice and straight, nice and easy. Now I'm going to put a picture of the full, one of the sides of the full chart, and you'll see that I've only stitched part of it. This was the part that I really wanted to stitch, And I was in two minds about stitching the alphabet, because as I was finishing this up on Thursday, Jacob in February does a fab, what's that? Oh, it's on the phone. I was like, what is that mark on my stitching? It's a mark on my phone screen. Jacob is doing a fab February alphabets sal, or February fab alphabet sal. And this does have a fab alphabet on it. It has one of my favourite types of alphabet, which is a Quaker alphabet. And so I was like, oh, you should put it on, really. But I've always really just loved this part of the design on its own. I saw somebody stitch it as sort of like a standalone piece, and I really liked it. And I do have two other Quaker alphabets that I bought at the attic to stitch. So I'm going to leave it just at this one. So I was really pleased to have that one finished. I'm going to frame that. I think that'll make a nice framed piece. And the one that I'm sure won't be of any great surprise to you that I've finished is again by Jacob, Modern Folk Embroidery. Now I've been speaking to Jacob a bit this week, sorting out one or two things with him. That man is an absolute treasure of this community. Aren't we so lucky to have Jacob? Oh my goodness me. Right, I'm pretty sure he could have turned his hand to anything in the world, and he came to us. So this is called the Little Bird Sampler by Modern Folk Embroidery. I started it on the 28th of August 2021, so no hurry on this one then. Here is my somewhat bedraggled PDF, and I have used, oops, I'm already creasing it up again. I've used two threads. I have used Classic Colourworks Chili Pepper, and the other one is the Gentle Art Cranberry, and I finished my one skein of Gentle Art Cranberry with one single thread left to go. So this is my piece. Let's see if I can get it all in one shot. Now I do have a bit of a shonky shoulder as well, so this isn't helping. But I am really chuffed with that. So let's see it in the different sections. So there's the top section with that big tree. If anyone spots anything missing, do shout out. And then we have the alphabet. And then we have the bottom section. And then we have my personalisation. So I'm going to fold it here so I can get some blood back into my arms. So my personalisation, I added a JL, which stands for Jean Lee, but it also stands for another lady, Jeannie Lucas, who was my godmother, who also had a huge impact on me. And I'm just actually turning my ring because both of those rings were hers, and she always wore them really big. Or certainly as she got older, they got really big on her. So I've never had them resized, and part of the memory is the fact that they swing about. So it's nice to have those two letters because they mean, oh, it is a bit of fluff. There we go. Because they both mean a lot to me. So it says, a bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of a branch breaking because her trust is not on the branch, but on her own wings. And I love that. So I am going to order myself, lots of fluff, order myself a custom frame for this piece because now it is quite a bit longer than it would have been, but I love it. It is on 36 count Winter Moon by Zweigart, and I really, really like that colour actually. Really like it. One strand over two. Well, it's only taken 4 years. We don't rush these things, do we? Mind you, having said that, I probably for about 4 years had that, and then like the first of those letters and a tiny bit down here. I have probably done the majority of that in the last 6 months, I would say. It just started calling to me from the whip pile, you know, as they do. You just kind of get this notion that that's the one you should be stitching on. And I stitched this ever such a lot last summer. I was stitching it at Big Stitch because sometimes when I go to retreats, my eyes play up. And I don't know what it is. I can't seem to get focus. And it's to do with the fact, I think perhaps last year before I got the varifocals, where I was like, you're constantly changing focal distance. And so I found it really hard to sort of stitch. So 36 count, I can stitch just either with my own eyeballs or with just the little cheetahs readers, and just 1 or 2 threads, and that suited me really well. And then I took it away. We went on a family holiday last year up in North Wales, so I took it with me there. So I've done quite a lot of stitching on that in the last 6 months, really. Right, the next one that has been really shouting at me is this one, and I seem to remember quite a lot of people are after this one. So this is called Heaven Above by Midsummer Night's Designs, and it's one of those ones that's got the photograph on the front, so you do get a bit of a glare off of it. So that's this one. And here are the colours, and they're just beautiful spring-like colours, lovely colours, or they were until I got hold of them. And now they're just kind of all over the place. They're a mixture of DMCs, gentle arts. I've thrown a couple of my own in there as well. Like, for example, there's a really old Victorian motto in there. I don't know if I've used it. I can't remember. I'll have to try and work it out. Couple more DMCs there. Now, I started this on the 6th of May 2021, so another 4-year-old one, and I have stitched on it a fair bit this week. This is the saddest piece of linen in the world. I was going to say I don't actually know whose linen this is, but I think it's mine. If you look at my exquisite cutting of the linen, it can only be mine. I don't think any fabric dyer and supplier in their own right would send out anything quite so swift as this. But there we go. So I think I probably dyed it, and I'm torn between it being a 36 count or a 38 count. I'm not 100% sure. So I had that done, and I had most of the top line. I didn't have the second line. I had the letters and the bottom. So all I've really done today, I've just picked it up, is started to run this blue border around. I don't know what it is. I quite like getting to the extremities of the stitches, and then I find it easier, once they're enclosed, I find it easier to work on them. So I'm going to stitch on this for a little while. I've been really enjoying kind of having like a focus piece that I stitch on, not necessarily to the exclusion of everything else, but I stitch on it until it's finished or nearly finished. So I'm going to have a go and see how close I can get to finishing this one while still stitching other things. I have got a bit of a secret stitch that I'm working on as well at the moment, ready for Stitch in London. So we'll see how much time that one can get. Now, I think I'm right in saying that this is pretty hard to come by. So I think what I'm going to start doing once I've finished with this one, instead of giving it to one particular person, I'm going to put it out as a sort of a lending library piece. It's not that big. It's 169 by 228 stitches, but this text part here really doesn't take very long. So I don't think it's one that would take very long. So what I was thinking about doing is putting it out to loan for a period of like 3 months, and then getting it back and sending it on to the next person. Now, I know I'd already promised to lend it to somebody, and I know you sent me a message. So if that was you and you send me another message, I'll know because I'll see the previous one, and I'll put you first in the queue. I vaguely remember the name and I'll recognise it when it comes through again. So if that was you that I'd already promised to loan this to after I'd finished, probably about 3 years ago, get back in touch, and then everybody else, I'll let you know when I start this as a bit of a lending library. Right, that is all my stitching. So freebie, I'm going to do the freebie. I haven't printed it off because our printer is still in its blue era. I say that like it's not just my responsibility to just change the cartridge that I've got sat there. But yes, I haven't done that yet. So this is by the SnowFlower Diaries, and it's a little Valentine's one. I'll put a picture of it up here. It's so cute. I think you're going to love it. So I'll put the link down for that below. Is that piece of hair really annoying anybody else? There's just like, do you remember Mr. Magica? Now I think this was before my time, maybe. And I'm sure I saw it on a rerun or something like that. But he used to just have a little bit of hair sticking at the top. I'm sure he sort of moved it and something happened. I don't know, vague memory. Right, let's do the giveaway first. And then what I want to do is talk about a few people that I met at at the attic, because I mentioned them last week, but I was kind of all caught up in telling you everything. I didn't really tell you just about how special and lovely they were. So I want to do that. I have another one of these boxes to give away. So this is the Historical Sample Company. This is their cotton and twine sort of branch, if you like, and they do monthly boxes. Now the lovely ladies at Historical Sample Company Cotton and Twine asked me if I'd like to receive these every month, and I could do what I like with them. I could give them away, keep them, stitch them, whatever. Now this one was a really close call, I have to say. This was a close call, but I decided to give it away. I have decided to give it away. So this one is, oh, does it have a name? Okay, there we go. It's just February 2025, and it's an Easter one. And I really like that lovely little Easter design there. So I am going to give this one away. Okay, Ros Clark, like I said, I haven't been to the post office yet with yours. It's coming tomorrow. So Ros won the last one. So let me show you what you get inside this box. Now you can order these boxes for yourself, and they are good value for money, let me tell you. So what do we get? You get a lovely little shelf sitter, a little rabbit with some dangly legs. How cute is that? You get some tea, a big chocolate coin, which I'll even include. I'm good like that. Some rickrack for your finishing. A little bit of, it's like a micro gingham. Really good. And then obviously the chart. And then inside this little bag here, we have got the fabric, which is a linen. I think it's a 32 count linen, although you could swap it out if you wanted to, if you didn't like linen. And here are the threads. I won't take them off there because you can see them beautifully. Lovely, lovely spring colours. Not really pale, nice punchy spring colours. And there's likely a needle in there somewhere. There usually is. Yeah, there is. There's one in the bottom there. So, if you would like to win this lovely box, then I'm going to say use the word rabbit. Use the word rabbit, and then I'll know that you want to win it. And then we'll give it 2 weeks, and then I'll post it out to you. Oh, excuse me. I know it's the February box, but it's an Easter design, so you'll still have plenty of time to stitch it. You get the design on one sheet of paper in colour and in black and white, so you can take your pick as to which you prefer. There we go. Don't tell him I've just put that box on one of his hats. He's very particular about his hats getting squashed. I'll show you. What do you think? Should I keep it on? I could even do it that way around if you like. I think that's I think that kind of suits me. Anyway, I'll move it out of the way so it doesn't get squashed. So, lovely people that I met at the attic. Karen and Bren, literally the first people that we saw as we walked through the door. were Karen and Brent from Fox and Rabbit Designs. Now I speak to them most months sorting out the postage for the fabric club, and they are just how you would think that they would be. Brent is a big hug of a man. He's just such a lovely, lovely man. And Karen is hilarious. Spent lots of time with them. They were my ones to watch while I was giving my lecture. They were my naughty crowd. As well as Ray Niles from Red Barn Samplers, who was my kind of stooge in the crowd to ask a question at the end. So they're just how you think they were. It's amazing to have so many lovely people in one industry. It really, really is. Brenda and Laura, again, exactly like you would think they be. Good English there, Michelle. Exactly like you would think they are. Laura is just bonkers. Brenda is just so talented, so friendly and lovely. And I had to sort of have a pinch me moment because I was in the attic shopping and they were both in there shopping, and I'm like stalking around the corner, keeping an eye on what they're buying because they always find such good stuff. And I'm like, right, I'm going to keep an eye on what they're buying because I might want that too. I met Susan Standley, and Susan's just such a lovely lady. She's again so talented, so knowledgeable. I didn't have as much time to talk to Susan as I would like to, but we spent quite a bit of time chatting online when she first started, and she's been doing her floss tubes, and she is just, again, it's just nice to meet people who are who you think they're going to be. They live up to your expectations. And I also met Colette, the highway stitcher. We used to chat backwards and forwards on Instagram because she always used to give a weather update, and I love that. When she was, wherever she was, because obviously she travels quite a bit, whether she's in Utah or whatever, she always used to give a weather update. But she always used to give it in Fahrenheit, and I'd have to sit there and convert it to Celsius to try and work out if I'd need a cardigan or not. I can't do Fahrenheit, sorry. I can't do Fahrenheit. And the other ladies that I felt I didn't really say enough about were the ladies at the attic. They made me feel so welcome for my first trip to the attic. And one of the first things I had to do was obviously take my model and my the original of Susan Steele in and get them kind of set up with the display. And the lady who does the framing, whose name escapes me at the second, she helped me put Susan Steele back in her frame properly. Now this is the original. Bear in mind I've brought this kind of like 200-year-old antique and it's kind of falling out of frame, and she's looking at me with despairing eyes and helps me get it back into the frame properly, and sets up a lovely display for me. And then Vashti, she's just, again, so welcoming, and she had a couple of samplers that she wanted to show me. She had a Welsh one. Nice. I won't tell you anymore. And she's got such good plans for things that she wants to do, and she's so enthusiastic and lively. And Mary, the lovely lady Mary, she was, I must admit, I'm not au fait with all the different types of threads, and she really kind of sat me down and gave me some good schooling in some different types of threads, and gave me a good website that I might want to have a look at as well. So I just felt I didn't pay enough tribute to them and the way they made me feel on the trip, that they never felt nervous or alone or, you know, looking for company. Everyone was just there. And I obviously mentioned Katie and Jackie and all last week. Right, a little bit of haul, I think. No, before that, I want to mention an exclusive, a Hobby House exclusive. Now this is by Tanya at the Scarlet House. I'm going to leave that one in. And Tanya, like me, absolutely loves Welsh samplers, and she's got a real good collection of Welsh samplers, I believe. So she has released an exclusive with Hobby House, which is Eleanor Roberts. And Eleanor Roberts is from Amlwch in Anglesey, on the very north coast of Anglesey. And it's a beautiful, beautiful sampler. And I am hoping to get my hands on the chart. I went on to Hobby House to order the chart. So you can order the chart, and the threads, DMC or NPIs, then you can order fabric. I was just going to get the chart because I've got lots of thread and lots of fabric. And the thing that stopped me was that there's only one option for postage. And so it meant that the postage for the chart was £31. Yeah, so I tried adding a couple of extra charts and it stayed at £31. I wondered if it was just because it was the kit sort of thing, but no, it stayed at £31. So I have messaged them to see if they do have any other postage options for just paper charts, because that would mean that the postage was more than the chart. So I do hope to get my hands on it. I'll have put a picture up by now because it's an absolute beauty. It is really, really gorgeous. So definitely go and get yourself a copy of that, especially if you're in the US. Okay, I've got quite a lot of fabric, a couple of, no, one chart, some threads, and then a couple of Canny Little Fox cases. Should I do the Canny Little Fox ones first? Now, I'd ordered these before I went. These are by Canny Little Fox, and you have to be, so what you need to do is you need to follow her on Instagram. She's up in Newcastle. Follow her on Instagram and then stalk that woman as much as you can. Set up a little bell for when she posts, because these go so quick, so quick. So I was really lucky to get these two, and I think I got them in, actually I've got them in two separate postings. So this one's got birds on it, and she does two versions of this. This one is the multi-pocket, which is, I've got a Christmas one of these. You've got a big pocket at the back there, you've got another like a tuck pocket there, and you've got another pocket there, and then the same on the other side. So you've effectively got 4 see-through pockets and 2 tuck pockets. She does another layout called a home case, which I don't have one, but I think it's got less pockets, and then it's got places for scissors and threads and all sorts of things in it. So I've got that one that's got birds on it, which I love. And I'm always stitching things with birds on it, so I think that might just become my bird case. And then I got this one as well. So it's got an owl on it, and it's got the moon is actually silver, and other birds on it. So it's the same layout on the inside with the pockets and the sort of tuck pockets. So beautiful, beautiful. And they're so well made, so well made. I'll do this one quickly. This is the last instalment of the Fabulous House series, none of which I have even put a thread in. So I think what I'm going to do is go back through them, now I've got them all, and decide which ones I really, really want to stitch, and maybe cull it down to sort of 9 rather than, well, 13 there were, because this was the special edition one. So I've got 13 to choose from, and I'll try and cut it down to maybe 9 or 6 or maybe 3. I know Brenda, Handwork Maniac, has been keeping up with these and been doing them, and they look amazing. Serves me right for boasting that my cough is gone. There we go. Right, let's do threads. Now I might even have another one of these that I haven't shown you. But these are my classic Colourworks, and I am getting right towards the end now because I am down to used brick. So Tennessee Red Clay. Oh, I've gone out of order already. Thundercloud. Timber, which is a lovely one, a mixture of a real green and a real brown. Tiny Vine, not Tidy Vine, Tiny Vine. Toasted Marshmallow. Tomatillo. Tufted Yellow. Tyler Boy Blue. And used brick. And then I have got some fabrics. So let's start off with this one. This is Fibre on a Whim 32 count pistachio linen. Now this is the last piece from Patchwork Rabbit's club. I think they finished the club now. It went from being monthly to quarterly, and I think their sort of run with Fibre on a Whim is finished, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Catherine, if you're watching this, please correct me if I'm wrong. So there's that one. I really like that colour, really nice. And then I've got two from West Green Loft Yarns, because she did, how did she do it? She took a break. So one I think is the December one and one is the January one. No, sorry, one is the January one and one is the February one. One of them came late, one of them came early. So this is the January one. I've changed my subscription now, so I've gone to 36 count. Because I seem to be just doing everything on 36 count at the moment. So there's that one. And then this one, does that have a separate name? No. And then there's this one, which I'm really looking forward to stitching on, which is like a grey blue. I think that's a lovely colour. Really nice. Then we had the Fox and Rabbit fabric of the month. This one is called Melting Moments, and it's kind of like a yellowy cream, I guess. Look at this one. This one's quite a cool cream, whereas this one's a warmer, sort of almost like a buttermilk type colour, it looks like to me. Let me open it out. Perfection. Right, that's it from me on the cross stitch front. So if that's all you came for, then you're done. Well done. The other thing I was going to tell you about is nails. Is nails, because I found a really good product and I was going to share it with everyone. So if you're not interested in nails, cheerio. Stay classy. If you are interested in nails, listen up. Now, I have never been very good at doing nails. I used to go and get my nails done about 4 or 5 years ago, pre-pandemic, and I'd go every sort of 3 weeks. I'd have them done and then go back the following 3 weeks, have them taken off and have them redone. And it's quite expensive and it's a bit of a faff. So anyway, I bought from this company called MoYou, MoYou. And I bought 2 packs of these nail stickers, and they're the semi-cured, semi-cured. So the one you do need a UV light for them, but you stick them on, file them down and pop them under the UV light. And I had these 2 packs of nail stickers sat on my counter probably for a good 8 or 9 months. I can't remember why I ordered them in the first place. I must have had a fit of pique. But before I went to the attic, I looked at my hands, like you sometimes do when you're just about to meet a whole load of new people. And I looked at them and I thought, oh my God, they look like Stig of the Dump. I'm supposed to be presenting needlework and my hands look like Stig of the Dump hands. So I had some really dark blue ones. So I put dark blue ones on my very, very short nails. And I put them on the Wednesday, I think, before I went, maybe even the Tuesday before I went. And I actually ended up taking the packet of nail bits with me and the UV light, because I thought these are bound sure to just ping off and then I'll have to put another one on, or they'll just be annoying me all weekend. They didn't move. They didn't move for 2 weeks. Now, I do have a shower every day and sometimes even a bath, and usually that's the death knell for nails. And the other thing that's the death knell for nails is hair. They get, when you run your nails through your hair, the hair gets underneath at the bottom and it starts to peel them up. Nope, didn't move. So I thought, well, this is going to be a nightmare taking these off. No, you just get the little cuticle stick they give you and you start running it underneath the nail and it just comes off. No damage to the nail whatsoever. And then I put these on. Now these have been on 2 weeks. I don't know how easy it's going to be. They've been on 2 weeks and they are still as perfect as when I put them on in the first place. And I am massively cat-handed when it comes to nails. So I'm just telling you because I'm so blown away by this product. So I'm going to be putting these ones on sometime next week for Valentine's Day. So I'll have those on next week. And I've ordered a couple of other packets. It works out about between about £12 for a manicure that lasts 2 if not 3 weeks. Oh, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Anyway, I just had to share it with you because I'm so impressed. I'll put my link down below. Yeah, of course they give you a link, don't they? But I will. I'll put my link down below. And I might even do a little video. I might even do a little video taking these ones off and putting those ones on. You don't have to watch it if you're not interested. But anyway, I was just so blown away. Anyway, that'll do for me. Stay classy, stitchers.